So we're continuing the robot invasion arc here, and in the previous chapter we saw Child Emperor finally confronting Metal Knight, but unfortunately we're cutting away from that, which has kind of been par the course with this arc so far, but it's fine because all of these storylines are going to converge at some point later on anyway. But we're coming back to a city and we're seeing like lower class heroes from the Hero Association just getting destroyed, which has also been par the course with this arc so far. We've been seeing that like, yeah, they're definitely not up to snuff to be able to take on battles and armies like this at this point, which has kind of been the inevitable course with the Hero Association. Like, it's been very top heavy. And we're coming back to McCoy in the Neo Heroes, and he's talking to Fuzzy, who is like the real leader of the Neo Heroes. We haven't seen him in a little bit. He's also the supposed grandson of Shibawa, and we'll get to that. But McCoy is basically revealing that Fuzzy has been using his third eye ability, which is like a foresight or prophecy prediction ability that comes from espers, to pinpoint when these monster attacks are going to happen, and that's how the Neo Heroes have been able to get to them before the other Hero Association members have. And that could be the case, but I think it's also very likely that he just knew that they were going to be there because he put them there with the organization. Like, it goes back to what I've been talking about. The organization has been modifying these monsters and then purposely putting them out there as like a false flag so that the Neo Heroes can look better fighting them, but also gain data from those battles to make their suits and just overall data and I guess comprehensive network stronger. And I'll go more into why Fuzzy probably knows that. But going into McCoy asking Fuzzy about, him predicting all of these monster attacks and everything, why hasn't he been able to predict the big mass robot army invading the cities? Which is a fair question. I mean, this is way more significant than any monster attack has been in quite a long time, so why couldn't he have foresaw that? And Fuzzy's just like, I don't know, I guess I just did it, my bad, it's regrettable, whatever. And it's obviously BS. Fuzzy is lying. And Fuzzy kind of like throws off the conversation completely, and he just goes into like, hey, McCoy, why haven't you gotten your cyborgification yet? I advise you to do it for your own protection. And then goes on saying like, everyone should just be this way, to make everybody safer. You can't just be a normal human anymore, remaining on this planet the way that things are, looking, with the monsters getting stronger and the threats building and whatnot. And this is like the most heelish, I guess, Fuzzy has been so far. I mean, we knew that he was going to be a bad guy for sure, but there was a possibility maybe he wasn't, maybe he was going to be a gray character or maybe like a red herring or something. But no, I'm pretty sure he's like 100% like evil heel for sure. And it means that he is absolutely in cahoots with the organization. Just in my opinion, it hasn't been revealed yet, but it goes back to what Drive Knight was talking about. And I think chapter 139, when he was like gaslighting Genos, when he was talking about Metal Knight, which obviously wasn't the truth, he was actually revealing what the organization was about, where he said that he contacts people with dangerous ideas. He grants them the power to realize those ideas by lending them his scientific power, and then lets them go on a rampage, turning them into useful pawns. He throws societies into chaos. It keeps wearing out security organizations such as the Hero Association and the police, promoting decline in national strength, and he's trying to rule the world at the right moment when mankind's resistance is weakened. I mean, that's literally how everything has been playing out in this arc so far. And the whole thing about he contacts people with dangerous ideas, this could be revealing that like Drive Knight or whoever, was the face of the organization for this deal contacted Fuzzy, grants them power, lending them scientific power. So I think behind the scenes, Drive Knight or somebody from the organization met up with Fuzzy somehow, and they were like, hey, you're maybe the grandson of Shibawa, or you're an Esper, or there's something, you have some kind of special aspect to you. We have all this cyborg stuff. Let's team up together and we can take down the Hero Association and we can run everything. And I'm pretty sure that's like coming to fruition here. And it also goes into another sequence that we see here where Fuzzy is talking about in Felsenave, that cult leader, as well as Zaditz, who is like the industrialist. It's showing like where they're getting followers from, but also where they're getting the money to facilitate this operation. Because, yeah, there obviously needs to be a lot of money and stuff. And they show like the factories and everything that are used in creating the munitions, as well as like the equipment and the battle suits that they've been making. McCoy then gets a call from the Hero Association about them being attacked by the robots. Like, they're not able to fight them off anymore. Like we saw before, that Metal Knight's defense robots were kind of doing some stuff, but they eventually failed as well. So now they're being overrun, and they're not asking to like collaborate, which McCoy is very wary of. Like, McCoy has his hands tied. Like, yeah, he is a dirtbag, but he's trying to do the right thing here, which has always been like the balancing act with McCoy's character, which is why I really like him. But they're not even asking for that. They're like, we're just asking you to save us. And it kind of cuts the call off with the implication that they're being killed here. Until Eraman like encounters McCoy here, thinking that he's like, or accusing him, I should say, of being a spy, just, you know, like messing with him. Also, you know, in case you weren't aware of my theory on these guys, Eraman and Destro, the two enforcers of the Neo Heroes, I think that they're the Brain Robot and the Gray Fox Robot, like the two initial members that we saw from the organization, like back in season 1. But they kind of let McCoy off the hook because he's able to talk his way out of it for now. And we get some more insight into him. He's like, you know, the benefits and privileges that come from successfully maneuvering inside of the hero industry. You know, that's all he essentially wanted. Like, yeah, like I said, he is a dirtbag. He's not really a great guy, but he's not like an evil heel. You know, he's definitely self-serving and trying to benefit himself, rising through the ranks, just as a normal business dude would. You know, I mean, it just is what it is, but it quickly spiraled out of control once he got involved with the Neo Heroes, which he thought was going to be like this big promotion, but it just turned into him basically sinking the world by trading the Hero Association secrets to them. Then he goes into a really interesting little dialogue here where he says, Fuzzy is a dictator with an extremely exclusionary ideology. I find it hard to believe that he is the grandson of Shibabawa, who helped us with prophecies without compensation. So Shibabawa, if you remember from the first season, was like the fortune teller that the Hero Association was using, or they called her a fortune teller. That was before we found out about the third eye ability that espers can have, where they can foresee the future. And she was like the most proficient in this ability, essentially. Also, a really funny thing is, like, without compensation, she was just doing it for free. But him saying that, hard to believe that he is the grandson of Shibabawa, it's possible that he's not. And here's a big deep cut for you guys that I don't think I talked about before. But if you go back to chapter 137, which I'm pretty sure is the first time we see Fuzzy, the guys that are around Fuzzy, like his bodyguards or whatever, the guy on the left has a stitch mark coming down his head. Now, at that time, which I think was like during the pandemic, we didn't really know what that meant. We didn't even think anything of it. We just thought it's just an aesthetic choice that one chose for this character. But no, now that we have come to the manga's continuity where it's touching on espers and stuff with Tsukuyomi, like that esper organization, we found out that they can make espers, like through some kind of brain surgery or something. And the telltale sign of an artificial esper is the stitch mark. So that for sure means that this guy is an artificial esper, and it's very possible that Fuzzy is as well, or something. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if what McCoy here is saying is like the truth, like Fuzzy isn't Shibabawa's grandson, but he probably is like an innate esper possibly, and maybe he just lied about being Shibabawa's grandson to get more public favor, you know, because of the whole history that she had and everything. And it also goes back to the organization contacting him beforehand and them coming up with this whole big scheme. And of course, you know, it wouldn't be one of my webcomic reviews if I didn't say this all ties back to God, of course. I don't think the organization is in cahoots with God, even though he is pulling the strings from, behind the curtain. But it's very possible that Fuzzy knows who God is at this point. I mean, the third eye ability, if he actually does have it, is like a sure way for you to become in contact with him. Like, I think that's how Shibabawa died. Like, she foresaw, like, a vision of God, and it caused her to, as one put it, choke on a cough drop or something. But anyway, we're cutting to Darkshine, and he's training those specially strengthened students, as it said. We've only seen this like once or twice, but they've been drinking like, as it says, special nutritional drinks, which is pretty much just like hyper steroids or something. There actually could be some kind of monsterization stuff in there or something. I don't know if they've undergone cyborgification yet, but these individuals are special, and now they're just fully turning heel. Like before they were just whatever, but now they're just full-blown heels because they're being requested to be sent out to take care of these robots. And Darkshine's like, no, they're not ready yet, they still need more training. And of course, this is like Darkshine projecting onto them because he himself has like severe PTSD from the Awakened Garo fight. And that's really the character arc that he's been struggling with right now. And he's putting it onto them as well because he cares about them. He's been training them for I don't know how long now, but the extended time of this arc. And once he starts saying this, they go full heel and they're like, shut up, you suck, you're scared. We don't need you looking over us anymore. We're ready. We're actually going to take this position from you, being a Neo leader. And they go out and just leave him behind. And I think this is also supposed to parallel to I think they were called the Soda Pop Boys or something, or the Neo Bubbly Boys, I think they're the name now. The whole group that was conflicting with Amai Mask. Which we actually saw like 2 or 3 chapters back, like they confronted him while he was still in his transformed state. So it's possible that we're going to have a similar instance here where in order for Darkshine to overcome like his PTSD that he has here, he's going to have some kind of conflict with them where he just easily, destroys all of them because they're no match for Darkshine. But McCoy comes to him and asks him like, hey, the Hero Association is being destroyed and no one's helping them. Can you do it? Can somebody else do it? Darkshine can't do it, of course, because, he's still, as he says, frozen. Like, he can't fight. He's still severely damaged mentally. And he is still struggling with that in the manga's continuity as well, although he didn't have the kind of short-lived resurgence that he had in that Monster Association battle. But this also makes me think that Blast has to show up, right? I think he's going to show up at the end of this arc or something, and he might be the deterrent to all of this. He also has to drop like 3 or 4 pages of exposition about God and everything, because that still hasn't happened. And that's kind of the way that the webcomic has been going with this. Like Drive Knight just came out of nowhere, dropped all the exposition about Metal Knight and the organization and the gaslighting and all that stuff. So I think Blast is going to do the same thing once he eventually shows up. But then McCoy goes to Metal Bat, the other, former S-Class hero in the Neo Heroes still. And he's like, hey, can you help us? There's robots out there. No one's helping. Come on. And of course, Metal Bat's down, but he's trapped in this room. Because the last time we saw him, they were trying to forcefully make him into a cyborg, but he was able to fight back. But Aramin shot him with these trank darts things, and then Fuzzy surprisingly was being compliant with Metal Bat and was like, hey, just let him chill, put him in his rest room or whatever, which is actually just a jail cell. And we're seeing that Metal Bat can't break out of it. It's super reinforced, and it actually has this automatic repairing ability to it, which I think is foreshadowing for some of the stronger members of the organization that we're going to see, later on in this arc. Metal Bat's like, all right, go grab me my original Metal Bat, not the one that the Neo Heroes gave me, the original OG Bat, which still has unknown origins. We just know that it was supplied to him by the Hero Association, but somehow it's nigh unbreakable. But he's like, slide it through the food slot and I'll bust out of here. So when McCoy tries to do that, A and Ryumon run into him and they're like, all right, yeah, we get it. You're a spy from the Hero Association, which McCoy isn't, but he is, you know, pretty much betraying the fascist-like dictatorship of the Neo Heroes here, which A and Ryumon are totally compliant with. Like, they were heels from the start. Unlike the other Neo Heroes who are like more morally gray, I guess, these guys are just fully evil, especially A. He was a freaking serial killer. But I also like that this is going to lead to Ryumon fighting Metal Bat. Maybe A too, but I always thought that Ryumon was going to be Metal Bat's opponent because they're very similar, you know, like they're both kind of like Banchos. Like Metal Bat is like the babyface Bancho and Ryumon is like the heel Bancho. So I always wanted to see them fight, and I always wanted to see how strong Ryumon was, because I don't think we've seen him fight yet. As for A, he could be anybody's opponent. Like, he fought Sonic earlier on in the arc. But yeah, somebody has to save McCoy here, because I don't think he's just going to get killed by Ryumon and A here. Like, McCoy has a lot more life left in this series. Like, he is going to help the Hero Association rebuild eventually. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.